Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Lyon. I'm a Public Information Officer with Pacific Northwest Team 2 here at the Cameron Peak Fire Incident Command Post in Loveland. Good news to report again today. We are up to 89% contained on the Cameron Peak Fire and 45% contained on the Thompson Zone of the East Troublesome Fire down by Estes Park. We have, this is day 8 of our Breaking It Down live series. We asked if you wanted us to continue, and you said yes, so here we are again, and we'll keep doing this for at least a couple more days. We have, as usual, one of our operations section chiefs, Kyle Cannon, to present an update about what's going on. We still have over 1,100 personnel on the incident, and they are spread out across this whole area. Some of them are based out of Fort Collins, some are here in Loveland, some are down in Estes, and they are out there working, putting out hot spots, pulling equipment that's no longer needed, and doing what we call suppression repair, which is making changes to bulldozer lines and hand lines so we don't have a lot of erosion problems on our public lands come later this fall and next spring. So without too much more preamble, let me get Kyle in here and he can tell you about what's going to be happening today. Kyle?
Yeah, good morning. Kyle Cannon, Operations with Pacific Northwest Team 2. So as Andy mentioned, we had another good day yesterday. Good work going on across the entire fire. He ran down the list of things that we're doing. We were able to turn, called this piece in here, contained all the way out towards the Comanche Peak Wilderness. We called the piece around the CSU Mountain Campus contained as well. We did some good work in there with the UAS and mopped up around the structures in there. And then we also had some additional containment here in the Thompson Zone. So moving forward on all fronts. So today, the plan is continue with that good work for the most part. I'll run around the map real quickly. Starting down here in the Thompson Zone, we're going to continue to work along that fire's edge, try to secure that fire from moving any further, hit those hot spots where we can get in there and get to them. Again, there's still quite a bit of snow in that area, so the footing's pretty poor. There's some areas we really can't get into yet, but we're continuing to keep a good eye on that and work hard along that edge to keep fire from moving to the east. Coming up into the south side of Cameron Peak, we're still focusing a lot in this area between Cedar Park all the way to Glen Haven. We've got folks up in there have for the last 3 or 4 days. We're working along the edge. Again, we talked about it yesterday, but expect to see some smokes in there. There's still some interior areas where there is heat, not necessarily threatening the line, but you might see some smoke. We do have people in there. We'll be continuing to work on that. This area with the slop over continues to be an area of concern for us. We've got multiple plans in place, like I mentioned yesterday. We've got helicopters set up as things dry out, as we see more smoke, and if we see indicators that this may move on us, we're ready to move in there with what we need to do to keep it from coming down to the south and to the east. Likewise, over here in Pingree, there's quite a bit of smoke, light smoke, mind you, but there is some smoke that is visible out in there. We're not seeing it as a threat at this point, but as things dry, if they dry, we definitely want to be ready for that, and we have folks monitoring that as well. I think Andy mentioned it, backhaul, repair work starting around here in Uniform and Victor, trying to get all those things prepared for winter so we don't have more erosion. Buckhorn, we are seeing a little bit of smoke that's still present, some heat that's in there. We got folks monitoring, and the ones we can get to safely, we'll get those and deal with them through time. And then moving into the north side of the fire, full-on repair. We called all that contained a couple days ago, so now we're just trying to get that stuff done before winter comes. Something to think about as we go in the next day or so. We're expecting some wind to kick in tonight and into tomorrow, fairly strong winds with gusts to 35 plus. In some ways that's kind of bad, right? Because that's drying things. We got a warming trend with some wind, and that could increase the fire behavior. That said, from our standpoint, we've got people here, we've got the equipment we need, we got people all set up to deal with it. So that helps us really understand where our areas of concern are. So the next couple of days, as that wind comes in, those areas that pick up, we'll get on them and see what we can do with them. So appreciate it.
One quick question for you, Kyle. When the public sees our heavy equipment and engines and crews driving around, what's your advice to them?
As you guys know, there's, of course, ice in places. Roads are pretty narrow. Just be real careful because there's a lot of equipment, a lot of fire personnel still moving around the fire. heading out to mop up, heading out to do what we need to do to secure this thing, as well as get repair going. Should see more excavators, more equipment. So just be careful, be cautious, drive defensively, and just be aware that there's a lot of traffic out there. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And another thing to be aware of, and we put up a video about it, is hazard trees. When a fire burns through an area, some trees are burned up completely, some are damaged, some are fine. There's going to be a lot of trees across all of the fires in Colorado and in the West, for that matter, that are going to be falling tomorrow, next year, because of the damage they've suffered. And sometimes a tree might look perfectly fine, but the root system has been destroyed. So if you're out there recreating or just want to go take a look, just be aware that when you're out in the woods, conditions can change. A stiff breeze comes up, and all of a sudden trees are starting to fall over. Those of us who've been in this business for a while can attest that it can happen very suddenly, and even trained, experienced people can get caught off guard by that. So take a look at that video. My colleague Cale also put up a video of a flight over this area, the slop over we keep talking about because it slopped over a fire line there. So you can take a look at that. Still a lot of snow up there, but again, you will see smokes coming from inside the perimeter. If it's inside and we don't feel like those smokes are a threat to our fire lines or to your property, then we may not take any action on them because it's not worth the risk of either putting people in there or asking a helicopter pilot and crew to fly up there and put water on it. We try to weigh those risks because they're real. We weigh those risks very carefully. Is it worth risking? We talked yesterday about sending a hotshot crew up one of these hills in Cedar Park area, some Storm Mountain somewhere in here. I'm not sure exactly where they went, but is it worth the risk of climbing up a steep, slippery hillside to try and put out a smoking stump hole? If we think it is, we will take that risk, and we will ask those people to take that risk. And if it's not, we ask for your patience to understand that some of those things are going to smoke until we get some more moisture, or they just fizzle out on their own. So that's what we have. We'll be back tomorrow for day 9 of our live Breaking It Down. You can check out all of our videos on the YouTube channel, Cameron Peak Fire. We'll continue to update Facebook and NCWeb. We've still got a whole cast of public information officers to bring you information about what's happening. Just a reminder again that the Larimer County Joint Information Center did shut down yesterday. The sheriff said they would continue to update that line with recorded information, but for fire information, we're going to be your main source for that in the days ahead. So thank you very much for joining us.